Welcome to Backyard Family Fun, the podcast from Pride Pools, Spas, and Leisure Products. In Claxton and Savannah, Georgia, celebrating 50 years serving our community, this family-owned business has spent decades helping create memories that last a lifetime. Whether you're a pool owner, a spa lover, or just looking to turn your outdoor space into a true retreat, we've got you covered right here on the Backyard Family Fun podcast. And as a crazy awesome deal for our Backyard Family Fun podcast fans, you get 10% off anything inside either location in Claxton and Savannah, excluding pools, hot tubs, or saunas when you mention the podcast. That's all you have to do. Go and visit the Claxton or Savannah Pride pools, mention the podcast, and get 10% off. Now that's a reason to celebrate. Welcome to Backyard Family Fun. I'm Dee Daniels, the producer, and of course, we are so excited to be sitting down and having another great conversation this time with Alex Smith, who is the co-owner and president here at Pride Pools, Spas, and Leisure Products. And we're actually going to be talking about some really, really important stuff in this episode. You might want to take notes unless you're driving, and then you might want to go and look at the transcript. So, either way, you're going to get some good information on this episode. Alex, first, let me talk about our topic today, basic pool readiness. And that's a big topic. And, this is an interesting time of year because I think everybody's like ready for
that's true.
For warm weather.
Yes, we've had enough cold weather.
Yeah, so everybody's ready. Yeah. So, you get a lot of that people walking through the door saying, "Oh, it's time. We gotta get some." What's first things that we should be looking at?
So the thing about this time of year, you got that cold weather, and it gets hot, and gets cold, it gets hot.
Yeah.
So in ground, above ground, it doesn't matter what type of pool you have. Bring us a water sample. Bring it in, and let's get it tested. Find out exactly what's going on with the water, because water is the heart of the pool, and you keep that balanced. You have less issues with your equipment. You have less issues with the finish of the pool, and you'll be able to have longevity with with the entire pool. So, water sample, water testing, we do a complete printout, and then we go over that completely with the homeowner step by step, how to apply it. And then while you're in the store with a water sample, we kind of get you ready in a way of, hey, what about the rest of the pool, the equipment?
Yeah.
So some people call closing and winterizing right here. There's two different type ways to do it. A lot of times people, when they close their pool, they're basically covering it, but they're not closing it for the winter because it doesn't really get cold enough here to do that. So people just cover it, keep the big debris out, and then about this time of year, they pull the cover off. And then, so everything's kind of status quo throughout the winter, but they just are not using it. They may just cover it. And then, but the ones who winterize it, completely shut it down, there's a process for that.
Right.
And we can walk you through that as well if you bring in a water sample.
Yeah, I love that. And by the way, I should mention, we're at the Claxton store right now recording this episode. You may hear some of our customers in the background, which is awesome. But folks can walk into either location, Claxton, Savannah, and bring that water. I think that is such a great way because I feel very overwhelmed by that, trying to read the strips myself and figure that out. And I don't want to put the wrong thing in or have the wrong filter or, that sort of thing. And I feel like this is such an easy way to do it.
It is. And everybody that's in our stores are very knowledgeable. We go through a complete training program, BioGuard, the BioGuard brand. Yeah. They do a lot of training with us. They do come in-house and do training. We do a lot of in-service training. We go out and do leadership training with them. So they're a big partner for us.
Yeah.
And so they kind of keep everybody up to date what's going on with the type of chemicals, what's the latest and the greatest of all the chemicals. So we help between that. We are able to let the customer know what's out there, what's available, and what's best for their pool. Now, there's a lot of different chemicals, and like you said, it can be overwhelming. There's a lot of different, and a variety of brands, and like the cure-all chemical, you got one pill for that or one bottle for that.
Right.
It's not that way for pools.
Yeah.
So that's our job, to help you through that process. And we believe in the 3-step program. And the 3-step program is 1, 2, 3. It tells you exactly how to do it. And that's what we do. We will give you that 1, 2, 3 step, and the rest is easy.
Yeah, I love it. 3 steps. I can handle 3 steps.
That's right.
That I feel really good about. I love
That's
that.
right.
Now you mentioned covers, and I want to talk about that. Tell me about the cover on a pool situation and the cover on your spa and all of that. Are you really only seeing the covers when someone's closing their pool? Rest of the time here in this climate, in this environment that we're in, South Carolina, coastal Georgia, we're not putting covers on pools. Is that right?
Not many, though.
Okay.
Used to way back, I guess it was maybe a different climate, but really what's happening today is people like to be out around the pool. So the backyard family fun thing
Yeah.
going on. So we kind of say, listen, why cover it? Leave it open. And that way you can kind of hang out around it with family, because again, the seasons around here are short. The winter, not really a winter here. The fall, it's an extended fall.
Right.
For the most part. But,
That's right.
But mostly people put the covers on for leaves and debris, like heavy debris. They'll just kind of cover it. But aesthetically, we use these really nice safety covers, like a trampoline mat over the pool, and it's just temporary. And all of a sudden, after about 30, 45 minutes, it's off. So you can take it off, and it's easy to take off and on. It's not unattractive.
Right.
And very environmentally friendly. But covering the pool in this market, in this region, is very common, but not closing, not winterizing the pool. So that's about the best I can explain it, because there's not too many markets do what we do when we say covering, closing, or winterizing. So covering and closing is not the same as winterizing.
Right.
And so for us, anyhow.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit, it's just our way of helping the homeowner through that process of the winter when they're not using the pool.
Yeah.
But being around it with family, sitting around the pool, enjoying, grilling, whatever you're doing, it makes it very user-friendly. So, and people want to be around the pool, right? In the backyard. Maybe not swimming, but you know what? We got heaters, and you can swim if you want to.
That's right.
That might be another topic.
People love that. Nothing wrong with that.
That's right.
Nothing wrong with that. So as we're talking about pool readiness, I mean, obviously, getting into warmer weather, coming into cooler weather, you're going to do different things.
Correct.
And, the steps are going to be a little bit different. And so kind of knowing what the needs are, I think is important. Let me ask you this. Do you see a lot of is there a common mistake that people make when it comes time to get the pool ready?
It is. And I know that sounds simple and easy about bringing a water analysis in or a water sample, but that's probably the biggest mistake customers will make. And listen, our job is to be certain you're starting off the right way. A lot of times people assume or they think that they don't need that. They just need chlorine. And unfortunately, long term, because people buy pools kind of for investment for the family. It's an investment long term for the family. They don't expect to resell it, right?
Right, sure.
They want to be certain they have longevity to enjoy it with the family. So the biggest mistake is water. So it's water will balance itself, meaning that if you don't have that balanced, that water will take it right out of the liner of the pool. It'll take it out of the plaster of the pool. It'll take it out of the walls. It'll take it out of the sand and the equipment. So your equipment will last less, won't last as long. And you just find out that you start having issues with your equipment. And a lot of homeowners don't know why. And it's as simple as balancing your calcium or balancing your pH or alkalinity. And that's actually easy to do. And that's our job, to help the customer get through that. Once you bring in a water analysis a few times, and we only ask about 4 to 6 weeks, bring in a water test, and see, like right now, if your pool is uncovered and being used, you may have it on a timer, which is okay. Water's water. So if it's winter, if it's summer, spring, it doesn't matter. Water needs to be balanced.
Yeah.
So actually, this time of the year, probably the most crucial time when you're not using it to balance it. So that's probably the biggest mistake, Dee, is they just take for granted that the water it looks good. And from this distance, it looks great.
Right.
But a lot of times, by looking great, can be very acidic. And acidic water, unfortunately, can do damage long term.
Right. That makes sense.
It
I mean,
can.
yeah,
Yep,
I mean,
yep.
you're talking about what it's going to do to the equipment, what it's going to do to the lining of
Yes.
this, things like that. That totally makes sense. I want to talk a little bit more about the equipment here in just a second, but I'm thinking about the fact that, all year this year we're celebrating 50 years, and what a wonderful mark in time to be able to sit and talk about all
Oh,
these
yeah.
things and the expertise here at Pride Pools. Have you seen the care and maintenance for pools change so much over those 50 years? I mean, you think back to how we used to care for pools, or what we had available to us
Sure.
50 years ago, 40 years ago, 30 years
Oh,
ago,
yeah.
even.
That's
And
right.
then what we have available to us now
Sure.
seemingly is so different.
It is. It is. Like, the pool industry is not quite like the computer industry. Every 6 months, you got updated equipment. But the pool and the spa business it doesn't change that frequently. However, I would say over a few years period, you could see a change. And they've improved it to the point where everything needs to be energy efficient, right? Cars today,
Yep.
they cut off at the red light.
That's right.
Motors for pools, they have variable speed now.
Yeah.
And it's meant to, again, save energy. Do not spend money on all that power. And, variable speed pumps is probably one of the biggest change that we've seen in the industry on equipment wise that's really made an improvement. Matter of fact, in 2021, in July 2021, the manufacturers have stopped making single speed pumps.
Really?
And now
Okay.
it is variable speed pumps. So a lot of times you can, if you're needing to replace the entire pump, and what I mean by that is your motor along with the part that your basket's in, we call that a complete pump. You can buy motor replacements, single speed, but eventually that's going to wear out and you'll need to replace the whole complete pump. And that's our job to help you with that. And because they can be costly. Variable speed pumps are like anything you hear that's green or energy efficient, probably comes with a price tag.
Oh, sure.
And the same thing with variable speed pumps. It does have a price tag. But if you're going to be in that home and this is your end home or this is your long-term home, that's the way to go.
Right.
It will pay for itself long term. We certainly can see, matter of fact, we have displays in our stores to show you and compare the difference between a standard pump and a variable speed pump.
Yeah.
So you're not going to save it in one season, but it take a few seasons before you start seeing a considerable difference. But again, time. I mean, the pool's in the backyard for a lifetime. Right?
Yeah.
So the pump will certainly be very energy efficient long term, and that's probably we've seen that part. Filters, they still got the same filters. You got cartridge, you got sand, you got diatomaceous earth filters. Those are your three primary filters for the filtration system. But on the pumps, that's been a drastic change. So it's been that way now. This will be the fourth year. It's been like that. So inventories, everybody's inventory is kind of changing, and now it's getting harder and harder to find those single speed pumps because
Right.
they had those in distributing and some of these other retail outlets. So I think they finally kind of got rid of all those pumps, and that's just a law
Yeah.
the DOE has come up with. So all manufacturers that make pumps, Hayward, Pentair, all your major brands, they have to make variable speed pumps now. So
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes.
I'm
Yep.
so glad
Yep.
you
Yep.
walked us through that,
Sure.
because I think that you're right. I mean, to notice that big of a change. I think too, when people are, I'm thinking about people that are getting their pools ready, and we were excited about warm weather. We got the pool parties coming up and that whole thing. If you're sort of wanting to make some changes during that time, right? So like, let's say you've got lights that you want to change out, or you want to do something different, that maybe you do want to make it a little more
Sure.
energy efficient, or yeah, I want to make is this a good time
It is.
to make those changes and to
Certainly
sort
is.
of evaluate that?
It is. So we do a lot of liner replacements for our in-ground pools. So that's kind of what we started back in '75 of model liner pools. So we've got thousands of pools in the ground over the years, and there's other installations by other companies also as well. But Vinyl Liner is a very big, tight pool in this area. And to answer that question, you'll find that replacing a liner, that's what we do really good at. That's the perfect time to upgrade your equipment, or like you said, light fixtures. So they've made LED lights now, of course, not the
Right.
halogen. Now they got the LED lights, and of course, LED comes in color. So you got all these color changes, and you got these different shows that you can put into the pool. And if you got a light in the pool already, that's a cool thing to upgrade to.
Right.
And just change out the fixture. In some places, you can just change out the bulb.
Right.
Save some cost, but and of course, the rest of the equipment, automation has come in there as well too. That's kind of a decision that's made by the builder usually, but the availability of the automation is getting more and more available through manufacturers. So we chose to do that. It's been I can't really remember how long it's been, but I'm saying it's been about 5-6 years ago, maybe more. We knew the variable speed pump thing was coming.
Right.
So we decided, let's automate our new installations now. So we started doing that right about that changeover time. It was a couple of years prior to that. And it's really made it easy. A lot of customers do not sit down when they're interested in a new build to ask us or want, for example, automation.
Yeah.
I want to be able to turn my pump on with my phone anytime, anywhere. Not really. Is that a big question? I guess based off our demographics and the customer who are buying new in-ground pools, I'm not saying they're not tech savvy. They are not really, that's not their number one priority.
Yeah.
The number one priority is they want crystal clear blue water to jump into.
That's right.
That's really the
Yeah.
bottom line.
Yeah.
And by the way, I want it to work and not leak.
Yes. That's
Gotta-
always
gotta
good.
keep it simple. and we can accomplish those goals. But, we do take it another level. And so we started bringing in automation, and we can fully automate the pool by using your phone. And, everything today, there's an app for that, right? And there's an app for our automation. And so we really are gotten pretty good with it. And we feel like that if you're going to upgrade, we can also retrofit older equipment to upgrade to automation. That's a neat thing. That's what people may not know about. They think they got to change out all this equipment and spend all this cost. You'd be amazed how very economical it is to upgrade for automation.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yep.
I think too, as everybody's looking at and sort of thinking about the changes they want to make or the upgrades they want to make, you look at, we were talking about this earlier, some of the equipment. Is there a particular time or a marker that customers would know, I should check my equipment this many times? Is it okay just to check it before the season starts?
Good question.
How often should we be doing that?
That is a
sort
good
of thing?
question. That's a very good question, Dee. So I use, for example, if you're a new homeowner, maybe you just bought the pool and the house came with it. Some people do focus that strongly about pools.
Yeah.
And if it's the right size, the right shape, and it's going to fit their family. So if you are buying the home and it just happened to be a pool in the backyard, or they're looking to buy a home with a pool in the backyard, which is not a lot in this area, believe it or not. People want to be certain that it's what fits their family. And if you're new to a pool, above ground, in ground, whatever it might be, that's where we can help you. Meaning that we can come out and do what we call a profile. We can come out and do an inspection. We do offer inspections for, if you're buying a house and you're just not real sure about the pool, we got separate inspections for that. And nothing, home warranty and home inspectors, a lot of them do not do that. A lot of them will keep that out of their, their side of inspections. They do not want to go into that because it's a separate industry.
Oh,
it's
totally.
a separate product.
Yeah. I didn't
And-
even know any of them did it, actually.
Well, and I don't know if there is, and
Yeah.
and there may not be, but I know that we are covered to do that. So we can come out, profile the entire pool, and give you an inspection as well at the same time. And we upgrade. When I say upgrade, we put everything in our computer system. So it goes into our computer at the service department, and it's also available in retail. So if a customer comes in a few months after we do the profile, we got all their equipment. We got their brand. We got their model. We got their part number right here in our software, right here in our retail. So if you're not sure, another cool thing, we do images. So
Oh, wow.
if customer says, you know what, it's this thingamajig that looks like a whatchamacallit.
That's
and
it.
it shapes. And so what we'll do is...
That's how I describe all the parts.
That's right. I mean, especially if I don't know what I'm talking about,
That's right.
I'm gonna come up with some fancy words.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of our project management through pictures,
Yeah.
images. And so when we go out and profile and do an inspection, we take a lot of pictures and we'll show them, is that your pool? And they'll say, how'd you do? Yeah, that's the pool. And then we'll say, is this your pump? It looks just like that. So I need a basket for the pump
Right.
or a basket for the skimmer.
Right.
And we'll kind of like, that's it. So we know what they're talking about. And
That's so valuable.
Man, that is something that has been really beneficial. And it's only for the homeowner's benefit.
Yeah.
100%. So that's the service that we provide when you come to us. And we just want to be your complete pool care.
Yeah.
So we will do the complete profile, and we'll let the customer know while we're doing the inspection, by the way, maybe before you buy the home, we're going to let you know that you got some things that need to be repaired.
Right.
And, that's our job. We want to be upfront and transparent about all that. And bottom line is you might need a new liner, or you might need the pool replastered or retiled, or you might need new equipment. The bottom line is you don't want to buy a home and you find out later you got to spend thousands of dollars later.
Oh, right.
That would be not a good thing.
Yeah.
So get ahead of it, and that's what we do. And of course, maybe later on as we're talking, we also do maintenance, and we can get in that a little bit later. But we can take care of the pool for you.
Yeah. I was just talking to somebody the other day about, they had recently put a pool in the backyard, and in-ground pool, and one of the things they said right after they decided to do it was, I want to have somebody help me maintain it, because it's just not in my schedule, and I can't.
Sure.
Some people really do want to be hands-on like that, and I love that Pride Pools provides that education so that you can. But then some people are like, I don't have time. I literally want to come home from my very long day just jump into
jump
the pool.
in. That's what I would rather do.
That's right.
That's the way to do it. And we can get the pool and take care of the pool for you, just what you said. So we can make once a week visit, twice a week. We can make certain that the pool's taken care of. And like I said earlier, bottom line, I don't want to be bothered with that. I got other things to worry about. I got work. I got family.
Yeah.
I got things that's got to be taken care of around the house. That's what we do, and that's our specialty. And we certainly will come out, let them know the process that we do. We show them everything that we do, and we take images. We let them know before we get there, and we let them know after we leave. So we take images before, we take images after. That way they know we're there. And hey, if there's something that the homeowner wants to let us know, the person that's taking care of the pool is trained and knowledgeable about the equipment as well as the water. So everyone has to go through water testing, water training with the BioGuard. So they all are certified with that. And they're all certified pool operators, CPO. So we also have that. That's a separate type of a license that we have to have. But every technician that works for us has that.
Move over CEO. I want a CPO as well.
That's right. It's good to have all the CEOs,
right.
all the C's. I promise you, it's beneficial long term.
That's so good. All right, last question. So let's say you're coming home, you want to relax, long day, and you've got three things in your backyard. You've got the pool, you've got the spa, and you've got the big green egg over here. What is the one thing you choose, right, that you're like, this is my go-to right here?
Oh, I love that. That is the complete backyard.
That's right.
I like that. Well, you know what? It all depends on how your day went.
Okay.
Yes, that would be the first thing I would probably say.
And if you're hungry, I guess.
That's right. if you're really starving and you just feel like that, you want to eat before you swim.
That's
you
right.
can do that.
That's right.
Or you can cook after you get out. So the great thing about what you just said for the backyard, it's a process. It is something that families can take the time to do, meaning that you just don't kind of go up to a big green egg and fire it up.
That's right.
You got to go through of getting it set up to get it fired up and get it heated up.
It's intentional.
It is.
Yeah.
And that process gives time for a family to talk, to hang out, go swimming,
That's right.
or hang out in the spa, and it makes it so family oriented. And that is the intent that we have, is bringing family together, and by doing that, people are happier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
I think.
Alex, I
guess-
love the fact that I wanted to make you choose out of the three, and you literally just found a way to pick all three.
I did.
You said, wait, we got to fire up the grill.
We do.
We have time to get in the pool and the spa and have family
There
time.
you have it.
I love
Because I've
that.
done that. I've
That's
actually.
right. That's right.
I had to do that in the Green Mountain Grill. With the wood pellet grill, very, very similar. It's a process. So the cool thing about that, we have a Bluetooth on that.
Oh, man, I
So,
love those.
Yeah, so you keep the hopper full of wood pellets, and man, we got those kind of flavored wood pellets that were pretty cool. But all you do is just, again, an app for that.
Isn't that
You
crazy?
can hit the button, and pretend, if you're going to cook a certain type of food that
Mm-hmm.
night, you can set that. It'll feed the pellets to the hopper, and it's a process. Again, it'll start heating up
Mm-hmm.
and firing up, and it takes about 20, 30 minutes, to get it like you want. By that time, you be good and relaxed out of the hot tub, and man, then when you get through eating, depends on what time of year it is.
That's right.
Then you can jump in the pool.
Yeah, that's right.
You
Or
gotta
vice versa.
Yeah,
one or the
that's
other.
right.
Yeah.
Depends on how much you ate. You
That's
might
right.
want to kind of work that off in
Yeah.
the pool.
Yeah, that's
But,
very true.
that it all kind of comes together because it does have an effect on family. And if everybody, I don't know of anybody who don't love to eat. Yep.
Amen.
There you go. And swimming, it would be just another little extra that
That's
you
right.
can put in the backyard. And it doesn't cost a lot to do all that, D. It really doesn't. I mean, now these days people are just bundling the lawn. I mean, we got like multiple financing for all that. So people kind of say, wow, that was, if they're thinking on the back end, that money sign,
Yeah.
then they kind of like, well, we're going to make it easy for you.
Yeah.
And we do.
Yeah.
So they'll bundle the entire bit, and really and truly, we buy down the discount. We buy it down, so when you qualify, I know this is kind of getting off a little subject here, but you can qualify to get a low interest rate. So we take it to another step, and we want to make certain that we got the best interest rate that we can give the customer. And so, or you can just do one at a time. But if you want to do it all at the same time, you can do that as well. But we just want to make it affordable, easy, simple. And when you're done, you feel like you can sleep better.
I love that.
You can sleep better.
I
too.
love that. Well, I mean, to me, that feels like you're making luxury accessible.
Yes.
Things that I would say, this is luxurious, but it's accessible.
That's
and
right.
I love that.
That's right.
I
Yep,
love
yep.
that.
Yeah, I think everybody that feels like they don't think they can, try it, give it
Yeah.
a shot. You might be amazed that, hey, it's a possibility. And man, growing up, I was fortunate at the time, and when my dad started this business, it really was it was not a want. He had 5 kids to feed, and it was more of a have to.
Yeah.
And but by the way, a few years later, as I got a little older, back then it was kind of cool to have a pool.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
So, but wealth was not in our family. It was just that happened to be the product that my dad was selling.
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
And we were blessed to be able to be out and be part of that, of swimming, and being part of the pool industry, and growing up in that. has really, that's some of the reason that the backyard family fun come about, because, you know, family is a big thing for us too.
Yeah.
So,
I love that.
yep.
Well, I can't wait for another episode. We're going to dive into some of these other topics as well. Alex,
Awesome.
thank you. It's been
Sounds
great.
Thank you for having me, Dee.
All right, welcome back to Backyard Family Fun, and we are very excited to be doing another leadership spotlight. Lindsay Fife, did I get that right?
You did.
Okay, and Lindsay has been here for 5 years at Pride Pools, and I hear rumors she does a little bit of everything. Warranty, purchasing, inventory, change the oil in somebody's car if they ask.
If it needs it,
Change a tire or
yeah.
what a great family to be working for. I mean, this is such a wonderful year to be celebrating 50 years, and of course celebrating it all year long, and really highlighting that here on this show. But Lindsay, tell us a little bit about what you do. What's your day-to-day like?
So I make sure the trucks are, basically yelling at people when they take inventory out when they're not supposed to, and just going through and trying to make sure that the inventory stays straight, which is, and then, ordering stuff that we need.
Yeah, and I'm not sure a lot of people, unless they have been in one of the locations, Claxton or Savannah, I'm not sure a lot of people realize how much inventory you might have to deal with. It's a lot.
It really is. And I actually come from a service background. So I've only been doing this about 2-3 years now. And it's a huge departure from what I started doing when I came here. So it's a lot. It's, Alex told me that inventory was a part-time job, and I feel like I got conned a little bit, but yeah, it's between the warehouse and both stores. There's a lot of stuff to keep track of. So.
Yeah, and I think too, a lot of our listeners are excited to be learning about. This is a full service here.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's a lot of the inventory too, because you're talking about all of the products, all of the service end. You're talking about all of these things, not only for pools, but for spas, and the amount of things you don't realize you need.
Oh yeah, the construction side, when we're putting a pool in, the amount of stuff that goes out on the job and individual pieces that go on a job is significant. Like significant. And, we have procedures in place to keep track of all that, and they work for the most part, know, but yeah, it's a lot. A lot.
Do you find people are surprised if they, come in and say, well, I've got this dream pool scenario for my backyard. Do you find they're surprised at how long that might take or how much might be involved in it?
Well, we actually keep it pretty simple for them. They don't really know everything that goes into it in the behind the scenes sense. Because we do try to make it as easy as possible and one stop for them. They don't need to know that they're getting 200 couplings. They don't need to know that they're getting, 200 feet of PVC pipe. It's just done. And so in that aspect, as far as the customer is concerned, we try to make it as simple and as painless as possible for them. So they're not, really seeing how much goes into it.
Yeah, because I think when you do have a dream scenario, you do want it to be full service, and you want it to be as easy as possible, as quick as possible, as affordable as possible, all the things.
When you're spending that kind of money, you kind of just want to be, you want to be sure that you're putting your money into the hands of somebody who's just going to handle that for you. You don't want to be nitpicked with little problems like, well, we couldn't get this or we couldn't get that. You want it handled. And so we do that.
Yeah. Well, what's your favorite thing about working for Pride Pools? It seems like such a family with the team, and it's a huge team.
Yeah. So I will say that's actually my favorite part, because I went from where I ran a service department, and it was just me in the office all day, and then my guys came in the morning and then left. Whereas here, I have a great camaraderie, and and I know that I can go to people like Heather and Warren and Wendy, or really anybody here, and be like, even if it's not their job, say, I need you to do this and I need you to handle this, and they will step up and get it done.
Nice.
Just like if my in-ground pool salesman comes to me and he's like, I need 2 ledges yesterday, then I'm going to do everything in my power to get those in his hand as quickly as possible. So that is one thing that I really like is having the other people to, work off of and depend on.
I
So,
love that. Yeah, that's awesome. No one has surprised me yet with this question and their answer. I'm waiting for someone to surprise me, but being in the pool business, in the spa business, and all of that, do you like to swim? No one has surprised me and said no yet. Are you allowed to even say?
let's say this. I liked swimming before I was in the pool business for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
I have a pool.
Yeah.
I have teenagers. They love it. They enjoy it.
Yeah.
Again, 20 plus years is a long
It's a long
time.
time.
And because I've done the service side of it and because I have my own pool to take care
That's
of.
right.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
But you do let everybody else enjoy it, and you make sure they
Absolutely.
do.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's one of I will say this, the kids having the backyard and being able to, and then, they've gotten older. They've got friends with little kids now that are coming over to use the pool and stuff. So it's that part of it. Yes, I absolutely love that part. The
That is
backyard
fun.
family fun of it. Yes.
Right.
Do I particularly? No.
I used to work at a pizza place for years. At some point, I didn't like eating pizza.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So, I get
you
it.
get a little burnt out on it,
That's
but
right.
you do the memories and the joy that it brings to others. Yes, I very much love that part of it. So.
I would imagine for all of you here at Pride Pools, that has to be quite a big deal to see any customer come in and want something, no matter how many levels it's going to be, how difficult it might sound, how elaborate it might be, to down to something smaller. I would imagine that's probably one of the coolest things, is to see a customer get exactly what they want.
Oh, it's yeah.
That would be fun.
When someone is, we had this one customer and they got finished in I think it was January or February. They sent us pictures of the kids, which my kids were the exact same way, March, end of February, March, because it can be 75 degrees in Savannah.
Yeah.
And I'm there. I want to get in the pool. Well, you go right ahead and get in that pool, But the kids were they sent us pictures of the kids in the pool, literally the day we were done with the concrete and everything, and they were having a blast. And
Those are the
so
best.
that's really when you can give that to a family and stuff, and they really do get to enjoy it. Then that's a good feeling.
That's
So,
awesome. Are you at both locations sometimes, or?
Yes, actually, because of inventory, I've got to be.
That
I
makes
got
sense.
that in the warehouse and stuff. So.
Yeah. Well, if you can find her, stop by and say hi to Lindsay anytime over at Claxton or at the Savannah location. And I know that you're a great part of the team here, Lindsay. So thanks for sitting down with us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Let the celebrations continue. The team at Pride Pools is excited to give you a huge anniversary special. Actually, 3 of them. To celebrate 50 years all year long, you can get up to $10,000 in savings on 3 anniversary fiberglass pools. There are 3 sizes to choose from: the backyard size, the family size, and the fun size. How cool is that? So stop by the Claxton or Savannah locations of Pride Pools or go to pridepools.com for more information. Thanks for listening. Come by and meet your local pool and spa experts in Claxton on Highway 280 West or in Savannah on Gateway Boulevard South, or go to pridepools.com. If you love backyard family fun as much as we do, be sure to give us a rating and review, and subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. And if you have a question or topic you'd love for us to cover, drop us an email, info@pridepools.com, or tap the links for Facebook or Instagram in the show notes of this episode. We'd love to hear from you. Now let's go make a splash and have some backyard family fun.
Pride Pool